सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। Is it audible? The 47th shloka. Repeat after me. कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफलहेतुर्भूः मा ते संगोऽस्त्वकर्मणि। A gentle reminder, it is karma phala and not karma phala. So yesterday we saw ma phaleshu kadachana. The karma phala that each one of us is anticipating from our field of karma, whatever kind of karma that you do, the end goal for all of us is one uniform aspect. And that one uniform aspect is ananda. Ena kena prakarena anandam. That has to be the end result. That is what each one of us strives consistently. So here, this shloka is making a very, very bold statement. And what is that bold statement? Karma cannot yield ananda in whatever format that you do karma. Does not matter. Karma does not have it in its nature to yield ananda. If that vastu does not have in its lakshana to give ananda, constantly we keep engaging in that vastu, expecting ananda, who will feel disappointed and miserable sequentially. There was a 9th grade to 12th grade camp, school children camp, and I was talking about Karma Yoga Siddhanta. After learning this, almost all parents called me back. I said, Swamiji, ye kya padha rahe ho aap? What are you teaching our children? I said, Amma, what happened? Now, whenever we tell our children, son, I am deeply disappointed in you. You have to increase your discipline and focus. My children are telling me that it is your wrong expectation to have an appointment with me, and through that karma you will always feel disappointed because karma cannot yield ananda. It is truly so, but wrongly applied. If the karma cannot yield ananda, the reason it is a bold statement and for many of you it is a disappointing one, then why should I perform karma? Because my very motivating force to perform any kind of karma is in anticipation of sukha. If that sukha is not the result of karma, then why should I perform karma? A huge question. Therefore, in the next sentence, Bhagavan says, Mate asangaha astu karmani. Just because today we come to realize logically that karma cannot yield ananda, you cannot afford to give up karma. Why? What am I doing? Holding my handkerchief. What did I do? Dropped it. Holding something is an action. Dropping something, is it also an action? Not doing is not an option. As much as to do is an action, to not do is also an action. You are holding yourself off of performing any action. That restraint, restraining oneself from performing action, isn't it a verb? What does the verb indicate? It indicates action. One day I was at somebody's house. The child, for whatever, one older sibling, teased the younger one in front of everybody. The younger one aligi velli padukunnadu. And that too how? Musugu veseskoni, everything covered. I don't want to talk to anybody, I'm sleeping. So I looked, the mother was trying to plead, the mother was trying to explain. And whenever it is someone else's child, we will always see it as a fun. So I was having fun. And then the mother said, Swamiji, instead of standing there and laughing at, why don't you do something? So I said, Amma, when somebody is really sleeping, shouldn't their left foot shake vigorously? Now you could immediately see that this kid, first the head straightened out. So I'm imagining under that bedsheet that kid has pulled over, I'm imagining that fellow is trying to think through. Oh, I am telling that I am asleep. And Swamiji is telling that if somebody is asleep, the left foot has to shake vigorously. And then after that pause, the left foot starts shaking. Now, is that kid really sleeping or not sleeping? As long as there is an act being performed, by doing something or by not doing something, both of them are considered as action. So you cannot afford to give away. Not performing action is not an option. Am I getting across? Not performing action is not a possibility. Up until what time? Up until we leave this body. Until then, performing karma is a must. Then we start resenting our field of action, knowing that it cannot give ananda. Instead, the entire field of action, what is its purpose? That purpose has to be understood. The purpose is very clearly stated that this vasana that we have developed, the tendencies that we have developed from various lives, that which now consolidated has expressed in this life as our prarabdha. Prarabdha, pura arabdha, that which has started, triggered from our ancient, all karmas resultant is opening up as our prarabdha. Now, along with that prarabdha, there are several layers of tendencies that which we are born with. The purpose of karma is to express these vasanas, tendencies, in such an intelligent manner that there are no new tendencies or vasanas created. The existing ones are removed from the system. If you read the works, Self-Unfoldment, Art of Man-Making, Kindle Life, Gurudev uses one specific word. Do not suppress your tendencies, but instead, those of you who have studied them, what should one do? Don't suppress, it has to be sublimated. What does that word sublimation mean in a layman's term? That the existing vasanas that which we are carrying has the very nature that it starts expressing as action. What is the process there involved? The tendency which when gets aggravated, it starts trickling as thought. The thought, when it gets amplified, it pushes us into action. Just because there is one thought, we don't jump into action immediately. Supposing I want to drink a glass of water. Throat is getting dry, I want to drink. The first thought has come. Immediately I am not jumping into action. Especially at home, what do? We look. Who is passing by the kitchen? And then we order them. Hey, can you get me a glass of water? And if it is our child, lechi techko, go get it yourself. While you are at it, get me also a glass of water. Immediately it doesn't turn into action. What happens inside? The thought is getting amplified. How many of us have the habit of drinking coffee or tea early in the morning? Invariably, everybody. Garma garam, savere savere, kuch na kuch. The first thought of coffee. Do you think we stop there? And immediately, promptly, very disciplined, get up and start making a cup of coffee? No. Inside, the thought starts screaming. Coffee, first thought. Then it starts getting amplified. Coffee, coffee, coffee. And then it starts screaming. Coffee, 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 coffee. Then that force, that momentum of that thought pushes us into action. As we perform the action, that particular tendency gets satisfied, and while getting satisfied, it is strengthening the existing pattern. There is a pattern, amplified, expresses into action. That action, though satisfying at that moment, further strengthens the existing one. Thereby, we are constantly running in that pattern again and again and again. You get a cup of coffee at that particular time where you are actually habituated. Well and good. What if you don't get? There are many who say, "ठीक है, नहीं मिला तो नहीं मिला." But for many, if at that particular time you don't get a cup of coffee, people start getting headache. There may be science, there may be chemistry involved there, but my take on it is, because you did not get the cup of coffee right at that time when you are habituated for that cup of coffee, that screaming of that thought is so amplified. Because of that thought amplification and agitation, headache starts. At that point, just one sip, मिल गया, that thought subsides, no headache. But if you don't get it, so this is the cycle of karma, vasana, chakra continuously going on. For this set of karma that I am doing, my past vasanas are the karana, are the cause. For those set of vasanas, my earlier karma is the trigger, that becomes the cause. Everybody that is studying self-unfoldment by Pujya Gurudev, there is the topic of vasana. And when we come to that topic of vasana, invariably first time readers will get that question. Way back when it all started, what was the first one that began this whole thing? Was it karma? Was it vasana? When I had the audacity to come to Gurudev and said, the topic of vasana, I think there is a logical flaw. He started laughing. He said an answer, because it was Gurudev who said it. I said, must be true. समझ में कुछ नहीं आया तब. Only after going to the Vedanta class, listening to it about the 100th time, then it clicked in. Though it seems like there is a flaw, because we cannot identify whether it is the karma that is the original cause or the vasana that is the original cause. It is only later that we realize that neither of them are the cause, the original, primordial cause. They both are branching off the offshoots, feeding off of each other. Then what is the original cause? The original cause is called ignorance. My own ignorance of my true nature, not knowing it as Ananda, thereby I assume that that which is out there in the world should yield that Ananda. I now am running after those that which I have assumed to give me Ananda. That very Vastu which I am running after, it cannot give me the same amount of Ananda in all times of my experience. If I repeat the same experience again and again and again, Ananda seems to diminish. It is inversely proportional to the more I repeat that. In the northern India, between the girl's side and the boy's side on the wedding day, There is a competition. Whose side representative eats maximum laddus? Have you ever seen such? मैंने देखे 30-35 तो ऐसे ही खा जाते हैं. 30-35 they just, I mean, of course in between there is an achar ka tukda to freshen up their palate. As there is that joke that people say, that fellow went to a party and right on the first tray there were rasgullas and he loved rasgullas. First round he took a plate full, sat down, ate it, went second round, ate it. By the third round, he started complaining that he has stomachache. There was urgently a doctor called. Within that party, there was a doctor. The doctor saw and said, I know what is it. He is overeaten. He has to drink this medicine. Does anybody have this medicine? So the fellow whose party it was brought that medicine and asked this fellow to take that cup of medicine. And that fellow looked in disbelief. He said, अगर इतनी जगह होती तो मैं एक और रसगुल्ला नहीं खा लेता. If I had that much of space in between, I would have had one more rasgulla. How many rasgullas can you eat? How many sweets can you eat? Whatever you like, how much can you repeat? After a certain point, you reach to the point wherein you feel completely disgusted with that taste. Isn't it? That which was giving you ananda. This ananda and the liking of that ananda through that vastu also depends on my mood. If my mood is good, ananda is high. If my mood is not all right, that same vastu doesn't feel appealing anymore. There is no ananda in it. And yet, we attribute our ananda to the vastu. Ramakrishna Paramahansa ji says a couple of stories. The theme of the story is the same. That when the camel in the desert is feeling thirsty, so it eats the bushes that are available, the cactus that is available. Sometimes even that is not available. All the plants that are there are thorny bushes. Desperate to quench its thirst, it starts chewing on those thorny bushes. And when it starts chewing on those thorny bushes, the first bite, it realizes, my parents, my elders always said, avoid chewing on these thorny bushes, they are not safe. They were all wrong. As I chew onto it, there is so much of juice, rasa that is coming. It is quenching my thirst. What is actually quenching the thirst? These thorns are poking inside and its own blood oozing out. It attributes it to that thorny bush, saying that it is giving that rasa. We as human beings as well, chewing on the world, thinking that when that which we are liking, when we chew upon, is yielding that rasa, but in fact it is my own rasa that is actually flowing out. As soon as that coffee touches your lip, the craving, the shouting, the screaming that is happening for that cup of coffee suddenly now subsides. As soon as it subsides, what is surfacing into my mind, my antakarana? Because there are no more thoughts. That agitation has stopped. As soon as that mind, my antakarana, becomes quietened, there is no more screaming. That agitation has been subsided. And because of that subsiding pattern, that which is my true nature reflects forth a very small quantity. That little small quantity of ananda, which is my own true state of being, I attribute it to that vastu. Not understanding this pattern, we get completely addicted to the field of objects, to the field of people, to the field of environments. Keep attributing our ananda to these different situations, that whenever these situations happen, whenever these people come, whenever these kinds of environments happen, that is when my ananda. So constantly, what do we do when we plan our day? Have all those possible events which we know gives us little ananda. And at the end of the day, when somebody asks, how was your day? If it is packed with things that which I like, I say, it was a good day. If it was packed with that which I don't like, then we say, I have had better days. Meaning what? This day was not great. This is usually our day-to-day life. So instead, Bhagavan says, we are wrongly anticipating. Our expectations are with the wrong vastu. Karma cannot yield ananda. Karma has to be performed. Chittasya shuddhaye karma natu vastupalabdhaye. Why should the karma be performed? Chittasya shuddhaye, for purifying one's own antakarana. There chitta means antakarana. Chittasya shuddhaye karma. Natu vastupalabdhaye, not for gaining happiness, because it cannot give. Therefore, the prescription is, whenever we perform our action, it should be performed because it is my responsibility and therefore I need to fulfill that responsibility. For the sake of that karma, I perform it. But while performing it, my attitude towards that particular karma should be so precise. How should that attitude be? Do it selflessly. I keep doing it selflessly, I get misused, abused, I keep getting treated as a doormat. How others treat because you are fulfilling your responsibility is their karma and their bondage. Irrespective of how others see it, it is my field of responsibility, therefore I fulfill it and fulfill it selflessly. And while I fulfill it selflessly, I dedicate my action to the highest altar. Whenever my dedication is towards an highest altar, that karma becomes bhakti. When somebody has dedicated their entire life to the research of, say, economics or physics or science, don't we say, he devoted his entire life to the pursuit of science. What do they mean when they say devoted? It is no more at a selfish, self-centered orientation. It is for a higher cause. Whenever somebody dedicates their life for uplifting the nation, what do we call that? Desha Bhakti. The act becomes devotion. But the highest altar that you can dedicate your actions to, wherein the vasana is sublimated and not suppressed, not creating newer vasanas, is only at the altar of that divine, that Ishta Devata. Therefore, while we perform it selflessly, dedicate it to the highest altar of that divine. Yad yad karma karomi tattad akhilam Shambho Tavaradhanam. Every single action that I perform. See, I get the best questions from the kids. Whenever these concepts are being explained, Swamiji, I can understand good deeds, big deeds, dedicating it to somebody, dedicating it to that Bhagavan, I can understand it. But me waking up, taking a shower, brushing my teeth, that also to be dedicated. I said, yes, of course. When this was a high school, so therefore I could get across easily. I said, when you want to go meet your very good friend, especially when कुछ होता है, when you are interested in the other person, when you take a shower, when you comb your hair, different angles badal ke, who are you decorating yourself for? Who are you brushing your hair for? Who are you? Isn't it for that loved one? Even the trivial most act, it becomes an act of dedication when done for the loved one. What I wear, how I present myself. Don't we? Okay. Lover, beloved ka bagal mein rakh dete. My observation that whenever Pujya Gurudev would visit, everybody, they would wear such beautiful ironed clothes, colorful clothes, come in their most festive look. Why? For Gurudev. Did we not do it? So even those trivial acts become an act of devotion. There is no triviality anymore. Every act becomes sacred. The next concept to understand. Doing karma with this kind of attitude is not once in a blue moon kind of an event. That I selflessly conduct, say, a Bali Vihar class, or I selflessly go do some seva, and thereby naming myself, I am a karma yogi. And people are also like that. When they see couple of actions being done with selfless attitude, we start branding them. Swamiji, great karma yogi. One or two karma being done once in a while doesn't qualify us to be a karma yogi. It is every single action, thought, word and deed, when performed selflessly and dedicated to the highest altar, that is when it is called that that individual has the attitude of karma yoga behind every karma. Is so much understood sequentially. Now the last principle, so that this entire thing can be easily understood. I'll give you an equation of karma yoga. What is the equation of karma yoga? If you know simple mathematics, you will understand this equation. 2 plus 3. What is 2 plus 3? Very good. 5 minus what is 2? So this 3, if it goes that side, 5 minus 3, it becomes 2. इतना मैथमेटिक्स आता है ఇంత మాత్రం తెలుసు కదా कार्य प्लस कर्ता equals karma. Karya plus karta equals karma. Now what is the karma yoga attitude? Karma minus karta, what is left? Karya still remains. Karyam karma karoti yaha. We'll see it further in the Gita chapters. That the karma has to be transformed into karya. Now let me put this in English. Is the equation understood? Karya plus karta equals karma. Karma minus karta, what is left? Karya still remains. In English, karya means act. Different acts. Plus karta, doership. Karta is the doership plus the act. What does it transform to? Karma. This is how you and I every day perform different karma. What is Karma Yoga Siddhanta teaching? What is the attitude? That from my action, field of action, delete the doership. What remains? The act still remains. And many of us have done it, but we do not even recognize that we have done an act wherein there was no doership. Many of us imagine that to act without doership is very difficult. Supposing you were standing in a line, in a queue. It was very hot. The fellow in front of you pulled out his handkerchief, cleaned himself. While he was pulling out his handkerchief, from his pocket, the wallet also fell down. What do you do? Once Rama Rao came late to the class. So the teacher asked him, "Why are you late?" My mother gave me 10 rupees. I don't know how it fell. I lost it. I was searching for it. Subba Rao also came late. So the teacher asked, "What is your reason? What did you lose?" He said, "No, whatever he lost, my foot was on it. So I waited until he left. Therefore, I am also late. If he had gone earlier, I would also come earlier." Would you do that? That if somebody's wallet falls, what would you do? Genuinely, as soon as you see it fall, what is the immediate act that you perform? You tap that fellow's shoulder. Bhaiya, aapka गिर गया है wallet. Were you expecting that from distance somebody was, filming all this on their phone and they posted it on their social media and you become the next viral hit? And therefore there is no hidden agenda. There is no hidden agenda that you will become viral. There is no hidden agenda that you would be appreciated. There is no hidden agenda. कि भाई तुम कॉफी खरीद रहे हो, तुम्हारा वॉलेट मैंने दिया है, मेरा भी पे कर दो ना. Was there an agenda? There's absolutely no hidden agenda, no appreciation expected, no limelight expected. Suddenly everybody turns around you and say, "What a great act." None of these expectations. You just did that act out of goodness. Was there a scheming and a planning of a doership? The act happened without the doership. Have you ever done this kind of act? Right at that moment, what you have experienced is an act being performed without the doership. Maybe after you come back from that event and when you are sharing this experience with your loved ones, you add some mal masala into it and make a nice bhel puri out of it. भेलपुरी बनाते हुए देखा ना कभी? And then serve. Today, you know what happened? I had gone to this. There was a long line. The fellow in front of it, his wallet fell down. If I was not there, when sharing, now you want appreciation. Now you want to be recognized. Now you want to be told, वाह, क्या काम किया आज? The anticipation may raise its uglyhood later. But at that moment when you were performing it, was there a doership involved? Absolutely none. So it is something that there is an act being performed without doership. We have experienced doing it, just that we have to now remember to perform consciously without the doership every act of our life. One of my friends, a Swamiji, he wrote a commentary on something which is very rarely written upon. And he sent me that PDF for proofreading. After reading that entire thing, there was a couple of things that had to be corrected. And after reading through, when I sent a message back saying, thank you for taking up this particular text for commenting upon, I really thoroughly enjoyed it. So the Swamiji sent me back a question mark. I sent a question mark to his question mark. Question mark means I had to understand what he is questioning, right? So I said, what are you questioning about me thanking you? So he said, I did not do that commenting for expecting somebody to appreciate it. All that I was doing was my responsibility of writing something meaningful on it. My job is done. Before it goes out to the public, I just wanted to make sure there are no triti, there are no mistakes. Therefore, I asked you to check. Beyond that, for fulfilling my responsibility, I am not anticipating even an appreciation. Isn't that what bogs us most of the time? Most of the Ghar Ghar ki Ramayana or Ghar Ghar ka Mahabharat starts from that very aspect. Yanta chesina saripodu. Chesina gurtimpundadu. Doesn't it start with that sentence? I have been slogging day in and day out for several years. Nobody appreciates. Especially so when things are going good, nobody appreciates. When even a little bit goes very, everybody wants to comment. Amma, ఇది బాలేదు. బాగున్నప్పుడు చెప్పావా? బాలేనప్పుడు ఎందుకు చెప్తావు? తిను. Because we get irritated that there is no enough appreciation. There is no acknowledgement. And some overdo in their acknowledgement that completely undue, especially when the parents are dealing with the child. Because the new age psychology is telling that you have to prompt them with a positive environment and their personality will be impacted if you give negative. Now a child comes. I think it happened a long time ago. A child came. In the entire white paper, there were two parallel lines. And the child came very eagerly, showed that to me, and said, Swamiji, how is my sketch? I am like, अब क्या बोलूं? दो lines के जो कुछ दिख नहीं रहा है. What do you want me to make sense of it? Little kid, maybe first, second grade. So I said, I am completely lost. What exactly have you drawn? So I said, a snake, Swamiji. I'm like, still, I didn't understand the concept, what he had visualized. I said, where is the tail? Where is the head? Do you know what he said? It is on the other side of the page, it is hiding. And most of the parents say, wow, what a sketch. It is amazing, it is beautiful. Don't overdo it. Don't give a praise where it is undue. What should be appreciated? His imagination. Right? It was out of the box, beautiful imagination, where the tail and the head is hiding behind the paper. When I turned to the other side, just imagining maybe he has drawn that side, he looks at me up and down. I said, no wonder you became a Swami. I said, what do you mean? The other side of the page doesn't mean that it is on the other side of this page. This page, it is hiding inside the other side, other dimension. Definitely to that imagination of yours, you should be applauded. What can also be applauded? Good effort. Good effort, good imagination, but don't give a wrong idea that that is awesome. Am I getting across? Now coming back to the topic. Whenever we fulfill our responsibilities, we will not be appreciated, and yet we have to fulfill those responsibilities. When the child is small, the parent is teaching how to brush their teeth. Have you taught your children? Do you remember those days? Nowadays, उसमें भी fashion आ गया है. If there is a boy, that fellow will ask, I want a Spidey brush. Spider-Man brush. Some doll in the end, which looks like that doll, they hold that brush. Not that they want to brush. When you put that paste on it, what does every child initially do? Paste खाने में मजा आता है. So now you're teaching that child up and down 20 times. Then rinse your mouth, clean your tongue, rinse your mouth again. At that initial stage, whenever they successfully accomplish all your instructions given, excitedly you all say, good job. Give me a high five, give me a low five, good job. Now being the adult, do you want somebody in the bathroom to appreciate every time you brush your teeth? Just because nobody is appreciating, would you stop brushing your teeth? See, usually I pick examples to show the ridiculousness of the point. So get that point. We don't expect to be appreciated just because I have brushed my teeth. It is my regular responsibility. Do you all brush? Thank you. If not for your sake, at least for the sake of the rest of them around us, please brush. Otherwise, you will be walking, talking human repellent. Do you know those little rectangle patches that you know, all out? What is it called? You put it on that electric pad. It's called mosquito repellent. Without an electric pad, don't brush for 2 days. You become walking, talking human repellent. कोई पास में आना नहीं चाहेगा. So when you do brush, nobody appreciates. And yet you are expected to fulfill that. Similarly, the entire field of responsibility, nobody will appreciate. That one day you stop fulfilling your responsibility, you will be censured. You will be criticized for not fulfilling your responsibility. Am I getting across? In spite of this, our responsibilities must be fulfilled flawlessly. And while fulfilling it, fulfill that responsibility without kartrutva, bhoktrutva, asakti, and dedicating it to Ishwararpana Buddhi. Because we have gotten into wrong standpoints. That if I am fulfilling my responsibility, it should be appreciated, it should be acknowledged. Not necessary. You're doing your responsibility. Fulfilling your responsibility, you need not be appreciated. Anticipating that I should be recognized, acknowledged and appreciated, we are setting ourselves to be miserable. ఎంత చేసినా ఎవడికి పట్టింపు లేదు, ఎవడు పట్టించుకోడు, ఎవడు దీన్ని అప్రిషియేట్ చేయడు. ఇంతేనా నా జీవితం? Don't we get into that mode? Who stays frustrated because of that attitude? Do you think the world will care? Do you think the world has time, resources and patience to sit down and soothe you down because you feel bad, because you are not appreciated? The field of duties are different. Field of job. Because on that day when you are taking a job, the one who is giving you that job, there is a dotted line. You sign, they sign, there is an understanding exchanged. That you are expected to fulfill all these different job descriptions, for which at the end of the month you will be given this amount of pay. You don't like that working environment, or that person doesn't like your working attitude, both of you can quit being with each other. There is an option. There is a choice. But the field of responsibilities, quitting is not an option. Stopping is not an option. Running away from it is not an option. Fulfilling those responsibilities, you will not be appreciated, and yet it has to be fulfilled. Life has become such thankless. Nobody appreciates. Nobody will appreciate. Come to terms with it. It is your responsibility. Fulfill your responsibility. Done. Vayu Devata, right since the day that you were born, is going safely in and out. Have you ever appreciated? Until we get blocked because of one amma, asthma. Then we see, oh, I am not able to breathe. That is when we appreciate. Every single day, Surya Bhagavan unfolds himself with such beautiful spectacle in the horizon. 90% of us don't even pay attention to that Suryodaya. Do you think the Surya Bhagavan will say, nobody appreciates me, nobody cares for me, I will stop raising? If everybody appreciates, everybody does their, then I will think of raising on the east. Nothing in nature stops what it has to do as a part of its responsibility, anticipating any appreciation. And yet, flawlessly, they keep performing their regular responsibilities without pausing, without stopping. I'll give you another scenario for understanding this. There are 3-4 of you at home, and at night you prepare a nice dinner for those people. Some business meeting, something got postponed, and then they attended that and they came back, and you eagerly go and say, Anna Madichana? And that person says, sorry, kha ke aa gaya. It was getting delayed, so we all thought we'll have our dinner, and I had my dinner. If almost every other day this is the scenario, what is your resolution and what is your reaction? Do you sincerely cook and keep it ready? What do you say? मैं रोज बनाती हूँ, कोई खैर नहीं. At least that you can do is tell me before, so that I don't have to end up in slogging in the kitchen and cooking. For such insincere person, why should I cook? I'll stop cooking. और जो आज बचा है, चुप, कल खाओगे. We react, don't we? Without these reactions, perform in the field of responsibility, fulfilling them. Because it is not about them. It is about you, your field of action, and how you carry the attitude to fulfill it. Am I getting across? Because the last point that I just made is a very bhari statement. It takes a lot of manana chintana to understand it and appreciate to be practiced. All the layers that I just explained in the last 50-60 minutes, are they clear? Understood? Now, while performing in this field of action, another few steps to be added to enhance that field of responsibility, to excel at everything, to be the best of the best. How do we do it? That is given in the next shloka. That is why I feel very disenchanted when people, not knowing these many layers of understanding that is there in this shloka, they very simply translate this shloka as, do your best, leave the rest. There is so much more to be added to understand it. Continuing to the 48th shloka. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvan yoga uchyate. What does this Karma Yoga Siddhanta mean in our day-to-day application? If I am applying this Karma Yoga Siddhanta, what should I look for to understand that I am implicitly applying it and there is nothing missed in between? So this shloka and the two shlokas after give us that depth of clarity. Yogasthaha kuru karmani sangan tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. While performing and fulfilling your field of responsibilities, as you are performing it, how balanced are you from inside out? How unagitated are you as you are performing it? If you are maintaining that balance from inside out, that is called samatvam, equanimity. And if done with this attitude, you don't need anybody come appreciate. Fulfilling that responsibility judiciously, being conscious of every single step. The amount of tripti that is there having done it right, it is uncomparable to anything else. Right there you know you have done it good. Why? The immense amount of satisfaction of having done it. Hota hai na? That day when you have, say, cooked an elaborate 7-course meal, the tripti of having done it is so immense, whoever has cooked it, they don't even feel hungry. Why? Dil bhar gaya. Usually पेट भरना चाहिए to remove that hunger. But that day when satisfaction is overwhelming, don't we experience it? I don't need another person to come and tell me, wow, what a beautiful work. You yourself know you have delivered it flawlessly, and that satisfaction born out of this balance is immeasurable. So do we maintain that balance as I am executing that particular job? During and after, can I maintain my balance? And specifically I am saying during and after. While performing, there is performance anxiety. Everybody that has a stage fear or to hold the mic and speak, what are they going through? Anxiety. It is not that they don't know how to speak. It is not that they are speaking for the first time in their life. They have been speaking. Suddenly put in the center spot. They have to hold the mic. And they have to utter few words. Hari Om. Welcome you. Why is that trembling from inside? Why does it happen? There is anxiety. That which I am delivering, is it being delivered in the right attitude, the right aptitude? Is it being received in the same sense that I am delivering it? Am I missing something? There are a lot of layers that add in, and there is anxiety. We lose that balance while performing. After performing, from the inside, there is a fellow eagerly waiting. What is the feedback? अच्छा आया, नहीं आया. Siddhi, asiddhi, accomplished or failed. Some feedback. And I'm eagerly looking. Nobody is looking for being told that you are a failure. What are you looking for? Good job. You accomplished it well. You are waiting for it. And if nobody comes, there is like another agitated existence. होता है कि नहीं? Siddhi, asiddhi. Have I accomplished it? Have I not accomplished it? Have I delivered it? Have I not delivered it? Did it succeed? Did it fail? Constantly there is that agitation continuing. You have done your best that the situation is demanding from you. Now the rest, how it is appreciated or how it is accepted, how it is evaluated, it depends on so many various factors. Let the cards fall where they should. Are you mentally prepared for it? Come what may. I have done a diligent job. I have not spared even an iota of effort. It was delivered. I know it. And I delivered it flawlessly. Now, such mind will be prepared even for a harsh reality if it fails. Oh, I thought I delivered it. If it failed, if it did not succeed, then the inquisitiveness is to understand where did it go wrong? How can I improve? That mind is available for that further enquiry. Nobody comes to perfection right away. Do you remember your first roti that you rolled? What shape of continent was it? Certainly not round. So one kid said, Swamiji, it was not a continent. It is so shapeless that I call my first product as amoeba. Vichitra shape. No first attempt ever succeeds. Over the period, you start making very conscious observations and slowly bring the change to a point wherein you are effortlessly rolling it and they turn out to be nothing but round. Some of the chefs in their cook shows, especially in the Western world, when they roll it, and they don't come round, so what do? They have a the cutter of that particular size and remove the excess. अबे तुमको शेफ किसने बनाया? When you roll it, the experience should have come to that point wherein every single time that you roll, it should come to that. Otherwise, you still lack that experience. That is why when somebody says, Swamiji, I made it out of a recipe, I am very, very, very conscious. I had to measure everything to put. Once you become expert at it, is there a measurement? How do you do it? I call it guesstimate. You are estimating it through the guess. And every time you guess and put it, it comes out really to that perfect mark. Why? You have come through various sets of processes to that point wherein even when you do it effortlessly, it comes out to the perfect estimate that that situation requires. You don't need somebody to experience it and then say. Sometimes what happens when I go to Bhiksha, the people serve. Good or bad, I usually don't comment. I just eat. Bhagavad Prasada, with love they are offering. I accept, eat. But sometimes I end up in a situation wherein I am at a gunpoint. Point blank range. Now that Amma comes and says, Swamiji, kaisa hai? अब कैसे बोलूं मैं? If it is not, to the mark. First time I had that experience with green tea. In India, as long as I lived, chai matlab उबाल के अदरक, चीनी and इलायची. And then add milk, another ubal, garma garam, masaledar chai. I go to America and I say, Swamiji, green tea. At least it should be green. When you say green tea, there is no color to it. And I sipped. There is no taste to it. Not even sugar. I was very disappointed. When they said green tea, I sipped and अब क्या करें, दिया है तो पीना पड़ेगा. I am drinking. And that Amma comes, Swamiji, how is it? क्या बोलूं, बद्धा सा है. It's not good. With a lot of love, that even that green tea was given with a lot of love. So I again took another gulp, just so that I could have few more seconds to think through what to answer. Then I said, Amma, your green tea reminds me of Paramatma. And that Amma was happy with that remark. I was also happy that I was let go. There were two other chicks that were with me. I said, Swamiji, what did you mean by it? I said, Chup, I'll tell you after I get out. And I said, Paramatma is described as Nirguna Nirakara. This tea, the so-called tea, boiled water poured in a cup. Nirguna Nirakara. There is no Rupa, there is no Rasa, there is no Ruchi, there is no Rang, nothing. Nirguna Nirakara. So what does it remind? Paramatma. Thank goodness she accepted the answer and let me go. If she were there like these kids, I said, what do you mean by it? फंस गया होता मैं. Whenever the job is done, when you're dedicating it, when you dedicate it to the one that you love, can you offer, when somebody comes as an atithi to our house, somebody that you know, that is one good thing in our Indian Hindu system. Anybody come at any time of the day or night, what is the first thing that we ask? कुछ खाओगे बेटा? Right? I have never ever come across an individual who say, अब इस समय में आया तो खा के ही आए होंगे. At any time of the day or night, when that person comes, do you say that कल की भाजी सवेरे की रोटी बची है? That you handle by yourself, for yourself. But for that guest who has arrived, that who you like, what do? Whatever is available at that time with the resources that you have, you would want to make the best of the effort to give it to them. When to a mortal we are giving the best, when every act has to be given as a dedication to that Parabrahma Paramatma, that Jagadishvara, can it be sloppy? Can it be cutting the corners? Now once that attitude is set right, balanced approach in every act becomes the very way of life, not tainted by accomplishments or failures. It is to be done and it is to be done to the perfection because I am dedicating it to that Paramatma. Samatvam yoga uchyate. That everything is done being in balance, maintaining that balance as I have executed that job flawlessly. Now, sometimes when our focus is on balance, what goes for toss? What is completely forgotten? Efficiency takes a beating. There are people who would want, say, to cut the vegetables precisely in the same shape, same size, same texture. Have you come across such people? And when they are trying to get everything in a perfect order, their speed, horrifying. Have you seen the thela wala? When they are cutting, cut, 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 cut. Every piece is that minutely finite, very nicely cut. Because while maintaining balance, you cannot lose your efficiency. At the same time, while being efficient, you cannot lose balance. Both have to be maintained. So to highlight that, in the next shloka, Bhagavan says, in the 49th shloka, दूरेण ह्यवरं कर्म बुद्धियोगात् धनञ्जय बुद्धौ शरणमन्विच्छ कृपणाः फलहेतवः. To maintain that efficiency while acting in from a balanced format, can you all walk on the floor? Yes or no? Thank you. Can you walk on this floor fast? Can you walk on that parapet wall? Little difficulty. Can you walk on that parapet wall fast? Probably not. Why? What are you aiming for? Balance. When our attention is towards balance, what is lost? Efficiency is lost. But how do I pull the efficiency while being balanced? दूरेण ही अवरम कर्म बुद्धि योगात् धनंजय. अवरम, अवरम inferior, varam superior, good quality. Avaram inferior in nature. You get away from inferior outputs through your action whenever the manas, the mind, is constantly guided by an alert, clear-headed intellect. Durena hyavaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya. And a name also that is used to address Arjuna. What is the name here? Dhananjaya. That who, wherever he has put the effort, has yielded a bounty full of dhana, wealth, and victory. Those of them, those who focus on creating wealth, they can be very frugal in spending it. At every turn, they are conscious about how they spend that money, dhanam. And when you are aiming for jaya, victory, winning over a fort, how meticulously you plan, strategize to reach to that end. And all of this can happen where the mind is constantly guided by an alert, clear-headed intellect. You cannot bargain that clarity. Initially, it may sound very, very overwhelming. How long I should be conscious of everything that I'm doing? It seems so demanding. Until it becomes your second nature. You practice it so many times that it becomes your very second nature. Usually, I don't spend time watching lots of sports. Nowadays, they all concise that 6-hour match, 4-hour match into 15 minutes of highlights. But there are some that I would love to sit and watch the entire game. One such fellow was Federer on the tennis court. His way of, his attitude of working there on the court, neither too elated when he wins a point or a game or a set. He is not like jumping off like a monkey. He's like, and then goes back in such a beautiful balance. When he plays, it seems effortless. That he goes, runs to the other corner. He is a right-hander. He goes to the other corner, the left side, and it looks as though he has overstretched in putting his hand. Maybe the ball has touched or not touched his racket. But he is very sure. He has touched that racket, and this ball goes to the other side corner, exactly at that line where the corner where it meets. It tips right about that corner. When they see the replay, they show that little shadow of the ball. It is right at that corner and then turns away from the other player. There is a spin to that. In that effortless putting the racket. I also tried. लग के बॉल और कहीं जाता है. And this fellow, like, effortlessly he puts it. And it falls right at that corner and turns away, spins away. The first time I observed it, I thought, it looked amazing game. What he played. I thought maybe it was a fluke. I said, let me watch the next set. I sat down. Every single time that he is playing, there is that exuberance of effortlessness. Delivered efficiently. Any game for that matter. Sitting in our sofa, when we see the cricket players, हम यहाँ पे साइड कमेंट्री मार रहे होते हैं. अरे ऐसा मारना था, ऐसे छोड़ दिया. Do you have such exciting people who get excited while they are playing the game? Oh, it is fun watching them more than the game. Have you ever played a fast ball in your life? It is being delivered at 140, 150 kilometers per hour. When I was a brahmachari, we were gathering here right in Hyderabad. For I don't know what reason we were there. We were about 6-7 of us. One of our Yuva Kendra members was playing for Ranji Trophy. And they were practicing right here in the Gymkhana grounds. So he was also here. He said, Swamiji, do you all want to come? I said, chalo. 6-7 of us brahmacharis and those Ranji Trophy players are not A team. They are B or C. Their balls are not passing by you at 140, 150. Maybe peaking at 100, 110. And when they ask, do you guys want to do bowling first or fielding first? What would we always choose? batting. So we also went. And when I started facing those Group B, Group C players throwing those balls, I could see the ball, and then before I could realize the ball passing, I could hear the ball. Shh, shh. दिखाई भी नहीं देता है. It's that fast. That is the day when I realized should not be sitting on the couch and commenting on them. Imagine they put that bat across and amazing clarity goes between the players across. And some of these players are so good that they exactly know how far that ball will go, how many runs it can fetch. Right at the ball when it leaves the bat, they're already screaming. 2 runs, 3 runs. They're giving the clarity to the other fellow that I'm expecting to gain 3 runs out of it. Now you have to run with me. Be fast. They already know that if I have touched this ball in that angle, in that particular area, there are these many players. The fastest one can reach, the closest one can reach, and by the time the closest one can reach, I can score 3. They've already made that mental map. To get to that efficiency while maintaining that balance, the buddhi has to be completely alert, clear-headed, and guiding that mind of ours at every single step of the way. The question that Bhagavan Krishna is posing here, is your mind dedicated to your buddhi? Is it in alignment with your buddhi? If it is not, every effort that you put will be flawed. If it is aligned, every effort that you put, you will gain that satisfaction. Buddhau sharanam anvichya kripanah phalahetavaha. Don't worry about the result. It is only the wretched mind that thinks about the result. Think about aligning your mind to your intellect and let the intellect guide. Let that intellect show the light towards that perfection, balance, and efficiency. How to gain that efficiency in a more firm way, that is seen in the next shloka, which we will see tomorrow. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet, Asato Ma Sadgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritangamaya, Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.